Greetings and salutations. Another random thought in this moment. Just with the idea of, I was just reading this book my dad had gave me to look at culture making, right? And one of the things it's talking about is one of the things it's referencing in the part that I'm at is the George Floyd murder, right? When he was unalived by the police. And just kind of looking at that systemic issue where there is a pattern of police brutality within Black communities, right? And one of the things that I was thinking about within that, just looking at the leadership, right, in our country, and how, even though when there was like kind of this uptick in the news covering, certain things, I think it's important to ask ourselves why, because at that point it wasn't something that was new, right? It was a pattern that had been presenting itself for a long period of time, right? Something that people have been trying to express and expose and to speak out on, right? And it's not until it's convenient, right? We have to kind of look at how certain issues are used as tools by the people in power to manipulate certain outcomes, right? Whether it be to garner support in an election, whether it be to get us to focus on something while something else is taking place, whatever it is, right? It's important that we realize that they always have a motive, right? It is not something that is just happening out of the goodness of their heart. It's not something that they just care about and are now finding out about and wanting to focus on. It is something that is being used in some way, right? So just recognizing all the ways that the people in power, the people that we are voting for, that we are putting our support behind, that's how very many of them operate. I'm not saying all, right? There are many, honest, authentic human beings that are also going into positions of power, but I would say probably not enough, right? When you have so many forces like APAC, right? Being able to lobby, and not just APAC, also different tech companies, all the different things, pharmaceutical companies, not even companies, industries, right? When the people at the top, are able to line the pockets and lobby for certain things to go through that very often go against, the will and the benefit of the people. So just recognizing that the people in power do not have our best interest at heart, right? And when it seems like they do, there's a motive. There's something they're getting out of it, right? They are not just deeply moved by whatever it is in the moment that's happening, right? Whether it is the raised awareness of the police brutality that has been taking place, right? Whether it is the acknowledgement of the things that are happening in Palestine right now, in Gaza, in the West Bank, and the grotesque actions of Israel, right? Whether it's, acknowledging that, realizing that there has been a long period of not acknowledging, right? And during that period, there is an awareness, right? So awareness without acknowledgement. So I think it's just important for us to pay attention to those things, right? And when we do see, that all of a sudden shift where, oh, now we see what you see, it's just a question of why. What are we being distracted from? I don't really have anything specific in this moment to like connect that to, but it's just a thought that was coming up as I was reading the story, just kind of thinking back to that time and how, there were so many cases coming up of demonstrating this pattern of police brutality. But it's not like it had been happening. So why not that outrage before? Why was the media not blasting this everywhere before? Why weren't we like constantly being bombarded with all of these different instances that had been coming up? Why all of a sudden, at that time, when that was around like 2020, why then, definitely understanding the people's outrage and that rising up, but I'm specifically referring to the people in power, right? The people in positions of power that have a platform to create and effect change, right? I'm talking about the people in media, on the news, right? Our government officials, those people who tend to stay silent for a long period of time until something becomes convenient to use as a tool, right? Because quite often they are using us, right? They are using us and our emotions and our reactions to all of these things. They are using us and manipulating our emotions for a reason. There is always a reason. There's always something for them to gain, right? Whenever we find ourselves in a position of being at opposition to another side, us against them, those people over there are bad. Like whenever we find ourselves in any of those kinds of spaces where it is being pushed by the media and by people in the government, we have to ask ourselves, what is the motive? What do they stand to gain, right? Yeah. Just some thoughts in this moment. And that is all. But yes, sending so much love.